All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, want to give a couple quick shout outs to our sponsors, Sovereign Extracts. We got some top quality CBD oils, variety of THC and CBD cartridges for all your pen needs, and also a big shout out to USG Canada, putting out top quality fight gear and attire for some of the nation's best in boxing, MMA, and more. On today's show, welcoming a very special guest, former Invicta FC bantamweight champion, UFC veteran, 14 years in the sport of mixed martial arts. I'm talking to Tonya Evinger. How's your day going so far, Tonya?
Oh, it's good. Just trying to work and do what I can while we're able to, I guess.
Yeah, and to that point, has your lifestyle changed much? Like, are you, because I know certain people have like kind of like home gym kind of setups or some other outside means to, be able to train. Like, has your training been hindered from COVID-19 or any other lifestyle changes?
Oh, hell yeah. But I think for me, mostly it's, just everything being shut down and, like, no fights happening. So I don't know if they're going to, like, all them fights are, like, stacked up and they got to get all them fighters fought before they put me on a card or what's going on. So, I'm kind of nervous about when everything starts back up.
Yeah.
Other than that, no. I just don't work out at all, I guess. I don't have a home gym.
Yeah, and to that point about like, trying to figure out where your placement is going to be on certain fight cards, I was kind of curious about that because there had been a report that came out saying that you were removed from the UFC roster among a bunch of other fighters, but that could have been a byproduct of maybe the contract wasn't re-signed necessarily or certain factors like that. So what you're saying is that you're still a contracted UFC fighter as of this point?
No. I got released from UFC. Obviously, it was just a bad run for me. The worst timing possible. I don't think I've ever had an injury this bad, so it really jacked me up. And then I had two of the worst performances of my career going into UFC. So, I mean, it kind of sucks, the situation, and I guess them not understanding, or I mean, I don't know how much they can understand if I fought like shit, But I'm planning on going to Bellator. They were looking at like fighting me this summer, but man, that's what I say. I don't know when we're all going to start back up, and then if I have to wait in line because all the cards are backed up or what.
So that's interesting. So are the negotiations ongoing with Bellator, or are you presently contracted to fight for Bellator?
I haven't signed a contract yet. For me, it's like, they're focusing on their 145 and 125, and they don't really want to touch 135, and I don't really give a shit where I fight as long as it pays money, and it's 145 is a little bit big for me, but if they pay me money, I'll fight there. I'd much rather stay at 135. I did tell them that if I got my choice between 145 and 125, I would rather go 125. I think I'd run to the division pretty good, and I don't know if they'd let me have a chance at their champion or not. I don't know how well she's protected, but at the end of the day, I would think they would want good fighters up there and not just try to pick and choose who they can keep on top. So if it was up to me, I'd go 125. If they're my two options, 45, 25, I go 125, but I would want a guarantee of like at least 3 fights a year to stay down at that weight class,
Yeah, because that was something that in the initial time we spoke, you'd kind of mentioned some desire to, like, this was while you were in Invicta FC, but you were talking about some desire to, want to try a cut to flyweight and end up getting the belt there. So to that point, like, what are your thoughts on the general makeup of the Bellator flyweight division? Like, what are your thoughts on their 125-pound class overall?
I think they got a good group of girls. I think I'm a sellable enough name. I think anytime you talk about UFC, it's who they like. It doesn't matter if you can sell cars or whatever. If UFC ain't willing to invest in you or put you on TV or promote you a little bit, I mean, they can make anybody a star. They want to make a star, So, you see that a lot with really good-looking kids that come in and they just can't fight worth the shit, but they got the look and they got the background and they got whatever UFC wants to sell, but they don't have the skills to back it up. So, I think that it's hard to get ahead in UFC unless UFC wants to pump you up. So, Bellator, I think for them, they kind of, to me, I don't really see much promo about any of their females. I don't know who fights for them or when they're even fighting. It's stuff that I never never catch wind of on social media or on TV or anything kind of commercial-wise. So I don't know crap about it unless I went on their website, and actually looked it up. So I definitely think I could bring some attention to the weight class and to Bellator in general. I think I have the right personality and stuff. And, I guess it's just getting with the right people and being able to talk to the right people to get the contract, signed and figured out.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I was going to go. I would have went 125 or Invicta, but, they ended up having me fight 45 over in UFC, so I just kind of cut up and went over there and tried to jump on that fight with Cyborg real fast.
Yeah, I mean, you got to roll with an opportunity like that when it's presented to you, no doubt. But, I mean, that got me excited when you mentioned the Bellator option just earlier on in this conversation, because like you said, it's the perfect confluence of you having the skill set and the experience in the sport, but also, the personality to like really draw people in, get people interested and excited for the fights. I mean, that would inject a lot of life into their divisions, whether it's the flyweight or the featherweight class there.
Yeah. It's different though when you're talking to the matchmakers. They're like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, maybe we'll put you on this summer. Maybe this, maybe that. I'm like, God damn, man. Like, when I fought for Invicta, I feel like I got a ton of attention. I feel like I sold tickets, got people in the arena. You know what I mean? I think I was real popular when I fought for them just for my personality and my demeanor, whatever the case may be. Kissing Lars in the ring. You can't pass that up. Nobody. If you pass that up, you're crazy. But I got in quite a bit of trouble for that, but it was worth it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, worked out long term for you, I guess. It's definitely a popular clip on social media. And, I mean, outside of that, you're a fun person to follow on social media for sure. And something I was noticing when I was on there, too, is that you have a nephew who's involved in amateur wrestling there. So for the uninformed, can you kind of talk about that a little bit? Because I thought that was pretty cool how you're supporting the effort.
Yeah, he's a damn good wrestler. He's just young and coming up. I don't know, man. I think if he got more attention and cruised around and trained at some other places, and I'm offered to come over here and train with us. I train with a bunch of badass wrestlers. At least you get a different look than staying in his home gym in high school and stuff, wrestling with the same dudes every day. So I'm like, come learn some new stuff, and come train over here. And he never takes me up on it. I don't know. He's too cool for school right now. So I'm probably like dorky to him, but in reality, I'm just way cooler than him. But no, he's coming up. I try to help him win all the contests because it's stupid. Like, everybody uses Twitter and they want to do these contests and all this crazy stuff, and I just have the fan base, so we just try to beat everybody with that. But I don't know. He's good. He's coming up. He'll be a real damn good wrestler. I just wish he would transition over to MMA and stuff like that. I don't know. He likes to get hit, though. He's a little bit of a pretty boy.
So he's not indicated any desire to, make a foray into mixed martial arts, just mostly focusing on the amateur wrestling. Because I think another Evinger in the world of MMA would be pretty fun.
Yeah, well, both my brothers fought. My brother fought for Bellator like 4 times. He fought Joe Warren for the belt one time, and then he fought, I think, I can't remember all the dudes. I think he fought a couple of Brazilian dudes. But and then my other brother fought in the local scene. He just isn't into working out like we are, so got to be in shape for the fights. But no, man, I can't even get this kid to jump a bike off a foot tall jump. I'm like, you guys are such pussies.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I was saying. Yeah,
I don't think he could handle a punch.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. It would just be fun to add to that, overall lineage and everything like that. But earlier on in the conversation, you mentioned the, fight you had with Chris Cyborg over in the UFC, and also entertaining potentially fighting in Bellator's featherweight division, depending on what opportunities fall into place. How much importance would you place on, getting a rematch with, Chris Cyborg? Is that a huge priority for you? If it, materializes, is that how would you characterize your feeling on that whole thing?
Well, I did get a message from somebody that usually is right on when they're talking about this crap, and they said that now that Chris has got the belt over there, and nobody wants to fight her, and everybody's backing out or turning the fight down. I mean, and I know that I don't know if everybody thinks I just suck because I lost those last 2 fights, but man, I'm coming off a bad injury. So people that are aware of the MMA scene outside of UFC kind of understand that or know me as a fighter, but a lot of these people, they just UFC, and even that fight when it came in, they're like, oh, she's fighting Chris Cyborg. Who is this girl? I've never even heard of her. I've never even seen her. You know, she's blah, 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 all this stuff. I'm like, you guys are so stupid. Like, there's so many girls that have been out there fighting that it's more than just UFC, you know? So, you know, I definitely think I would take the fight again. And that's what I told the person that texted me. They're like, I don't think you should fight her. And I'm like, no, man, I would, for the right money, I would definitely fight her. And I'd love to, you know, for my own sanity, because last time I only got I got 3 weeks notice, so I really only got 2 weeks to train, and I had to fly out to Vegas for the fight. So, you know, for being the biggest fight of my career, it was real short notice, you know, and it's hard to prepare yourself. You know, I spent most of the time just cutting weight. I didn't have to cut too crazy much, but, you know, you got to get down there in 3 weeks, and then you got to prepare and be ready for the type of fighter she is and this and that. You know, it just wasn't enough time. But to do it again, I definitely would. And I don't know if that's why Bellator's like, hey, why the matchmaker's like, hey, you need to come 45, and we'll probably pick you up 45 because they know I'll fight anybody, and I damn well would take that fight again. But I don't know. I mean, I definitely would not turn it down. I've been telling everybody I'd take that fight, but it's got to be the right money.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, the circumstances maybe weren't the most ideal as far as, like, preparation, but you got to leap on those opportunities when you could. So, I mean, no, just a lot of exciting opportunities for you with this, like, you know, crossover into Bellator that is, you know, with the negotiations ongoing. I think there's a ton of great matchups for you there, Tonya, but I'm kind of curious if there's anything you want to sort of add as a parting thought as we're wrapping up here, because I want to be, you know, mindful of your time and everything.
No, man, for me, I just can't wait to get back in there and get back to action. I feel like right now I'm feeling good. My leg's feeling good. I've got quite a bit of rehab on it. I know right before my last fight with UFC, I couldn't even squat down all the way. My knee wasn't even there that far yet. But it's hard to not take the fights when they're given to you when you're not making, you know, you're not making a paycheck unless you're stepping in the ring. And it's a really, like, shitty position to be put in. But, you know, that's what we do for a living. So I'm not going to turn any fight down. And I guess I've been on top for a long time, and I feel like I was unbeatable before I went over there and got my leg broke, you know. So I feel like I was at the top of my game. I don't think it's past at all. I just think that I needed time to heal, and sometimes the right opportunities aren't the right timing, and I feel like maybe that's what it was, you know. Me and UFC, I don't know if I don't perform for them, or I don't feel right in the head, just that how the whole show runs, you know. They don't really give everybody the same support. I feel like that's why I excelled so much or did so good in Invicta. They treat everybody amazing. Everybody's equal. Everybody gets the same attention. Everybody gets the same promo. You know what I mean? Like, it's a really good organization that makes you feel good to fight for and confident, and there's no head trips, you know. Like, the smallest thing can make the biggest issue in a training camp or in a fight in general. So, you know, I think that's just one of the situations. But man, if I get this deal with Bellator, I think everybody's going to see me come back and perform again like normal, and you know, hopefully I get my fan base back and everybody jumps back on board.
Well, that's just it. I think anyone who's followed your career outside of the UFC bubble just knows what kind of skills you bring to the table, and they know you're still in a very key part of your career. And yeah, certain people who don't understand the injuries, I mean, what does their opinion matter anyway? That's kind of my take on the whole thing.
Right.
But yeah, I appreciate all the time. And
not that I want to kick their ass. I mean, goddamn, like, you would not say that to my damn face.
Oh yeah, none of those guys. No, I get what you mean for sure, but I really appreciate talking to you, Tonya, and catching up a little bit again. And yeah, just looking forward to, you know, details finalizing for this Bellator deal here. I mean, I keep reiterating how excited I am for it, but
I think if I could get the right person on the phone, or the right person that I need to talk to make the deal happen, I think that's where it's at. You know, just running around and talking to matchmakers never actually gets you on card, you know. So hopefully they jump on it and figure it out and let me come in there.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a killer addition to the roster, no doubt. But again, thanks for all the time and insights, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day there, Tonya.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.